Welcome to the 2025 EngineLabs Giveaway presented by Summit Racing. We are here in our booth at the PRI show in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'm here with Nick McCallis of Bullet Racing Engines, and we are getting ready to put together an engine. This year, we decided to build a 632 cubic inch, naturally aspirated big block Chevy that will make more than 1,000 horsepower. Our whole giveaway would not be possible without our great friends at Summit Racing who help supply parts and always fast shipping. To enter to win this engine you're seeing built, go to www.enginelabsgiveaway.com. It's 100% free and you could win the engine of a lifetime. Nick, you have a lot of experience with this. How are you feeling about this whole project and this is your first time, seeing all this. What are you feeling?
We got some incredible companies behind us that have some of the nicest parts and some of the first prototypes like on cylinder heads and stuff from Metalbrock that are really, really nice heads. And along with the other manufacturers of some high-end components. And with the Holley EFI, I think we should be able to make the power and have it reliable for somebody to drive it on the street when they win it. Should be able to easily hit the mark of 1,000 horsepower, I would believe.
Now you touched on something that's really important. Usually we're using proven parts, but we have a lot of things that aren't even out to the public being used in this build. So that's actually going to be really cool for you guys at home, is you're going to get to see some stuff that nobody's seen before. The cylinder heads, we were tight on time just because they didn't exist. So we've got a lot of really cool parts. This is a lot of really high-end parts, like Nick said. This is going to be a killer build and slightly out of the ordinary just because there's no power adder. But by the same token, we make up for no power adder by the fact that we're introducing heads, a block that I don't think anybody's seen online yet.
Crankshaft.
The crankshaft that's, one of Scat's super high-end deals. We got some cool rotating assembly parts. We got that cool cam from Cam Motion. We also have, wait till you guys see these push rods. These push rods are awesome. But basically, yeah, so with that, stay tuned for the whole build because we are going to go through every part and you're gonna watch it come together and you're gonna watch it go from a bare block all the way up to a running engine in 3 days on the show floor. Let's talk about the block real quick. You obviously did all the machine work, so
Yep.
You were intimately familiar with this. It's J-Line's new
Cast iron block. This one's a 10-2 deck with a 400 race cam. Running 55 millimeter roller cam bearings, 903 lifters, ARP hardware throughout the thing. Block machined really good. We had to just clearance it for the stroker crank and the rods, but everything was on point as far as tolerances that he wanted. Definitely one of the best blocks on the market right now.
This is like new to the market. Like this is like block in the single digits, right? Like
yeah.
Production number.
Yep. Jason's been producing some for a couple of engine shops and been having really good results. And he was good enough to come on board to help us out with this project and. So we can start putting this thing together. Any
kind of maintenance issues with roller bearings that the
only if they're real high lift cams that have a lot of spring pressure, they can flatten out the bearings on them.
Okay, but for our winter with this, it's not even going to be anything to think about.
No, it'll be reliable for about forever with the spring pressures we're running and the reliability of it, unlike a Babbitt bearing to where they can wear out. When it starts trying to wear, the roller bearings won't. They'll just keep going.
So this cam from Cam Motion, tell me a little bit about it. I mean, obviously you guys work together to spec it out, right?
It's a hydraulic roller, pretty good sized cam.
We're looking at about 729 intake and 708 exhaust.
Yep.
264, 278, but with this much displacement, that's not a ton of duration, right?
No.
So I mean, this is gonna still have some street manners. I mean, obviously it's gonna be pretty aggressive, but
yeah,
it's gonna idle.
Yeah, with the EFI, it'll be easy to make it idle and run. Is
this an off-the-shelf thing they offer, or is this?
No, custom because it's 55 millimeter instead of the standard.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's some of their race lobes, but then they're tamed down with a hydraulic roller.
And that's the cool thing about going custom. You're not just picking specs. You can actually change the lobe shape, right?
Yes. The opening, closing points, the ramp speeds, and all that.
How much, maintenance are we thinking this engine's going to have on the street?
It'll be easily reliable, except for the person's going to have their foot through the floor because it'll be so much fun. That's That's the only time reliability will go away.
So we're not going to be beating up valve train or anything with this?
No, not even close. Not with the hydraulic roller lifters and the 903 lifters and the good valve springs from Comp and titanium retainers on it. Shouldn't have any valve train issues at all.
Okay. Nick, let's talk about these bearings. These are King's PMAX coat, which are their coated PMAX blacks, right?
They're the XP series coated, and which has a polymer coating, which is different than what anybody else has in their coatings, which is the same as like the OEs use on it. They have really good quality, especially with the coating for smoothing it out and reliability on them. So.
Well, one of the cool things about them, because I mean I've been running these forever with their stuff. So the coating, it's got the embeddability in case junk goes through, it doesn't kill your crank. If it makes contact, like if you lose oil pressure, it gives you a big margin, right? Like because you never want metal on metal or metal on coating or whatever. But if it happens, it's better for the bearing to take it than to lose a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 crank. So Nick, while you're doing this, let's talk about these main caps. They are beefy.
J-Line has put billet main caps on their block with 4 ARP studs. Plus the other thing is that these are doweled. They run dowel pins, screw-in dowel pins on each of the mains, so whatever the caps can't walk left or right or anything else for high horsepower motors.
So not only is that a secondary locator, it's also an anti-walk feature.
Correct.
Now I also noticed they've got the threaded cap puller.
And they also have the sides, but when you run locators, if you try to go sideways, you're going to ob along the holes. So it's better to use the main puller to pull it straight up, and then that way you're not going to mess with any of that.
So let's talk about this crank. This is a Scat Superlight, right?
Yes, Scat's new Superlight crank where they've scalloped out all the counterweights on both sides, knocking out almost 15 pounds off the crankshaft over their normal deal. It's a 8 counterweight, completely 8 counterweight deal.
So nice center counterweight's good for high RPM. Nice smooth operation.
Yeah, they're designing this crank more for bracket racers to try to give them something that's lighter so they can accelerate faster and be more consistent. But we're using it in this nice little pump gas street motor, so it'll handle the power easily.
Because it's forged 4340, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, and when we say lightweight, we're talking about a big block crank that is super heavy to start, right? So we're talking like what, 65 pounds?
Yeah, these are 65 pounds. And then the way I balanced it is instead of drilling any holes, we ground it to balance it on both the front and back to bring it in that way, because the shape of the counterweights and stuff like that, we want to get it to where we're not drilling holes for what they call harmonics going through it, and then for trying to pick up oil in those holes and stuff like that for better windage and all that.
Well, they've also profiled these, right?
Yeah, and then these counterweights are completely profiled, what they call a round nose.
Yeah, so they
on it,
don't create as much windage
on both ends, and then they've actually angled the counterweights just a little bit, so then that way it's less drag going through the oil, since the oil will be up through the counterweights with this big stroke of 4750 stroke on this thing.
All right, so let's drop it in. Real easy for me to say when the thing weighs 65 pounds.
Yep.
You're strong. You're strong like ox. So what do you target for thrust in an engine like this?
7 to 10 is where I try to get on something like this.
So we're talking about the ARP main studs here. Now, even as a 4-bolt, main,
yes,
we still are using beefy ARP main studs, right?
Yes, this has studs on even the side bolts. Instead of being bolts, there's studs on it. The way Jason Line designed his block. And then with this one, they're 8740 material. And then they got an L19 washer underneath them.
Okay.
So then that way it locks it in a little bit tighter on your torque in it. With the beefy billet steel main caps, bottom end is about as secure as you can get.
We're doing 105 pound-feet in 3 stages, right?
One stage.
Oh, you're just going to do one?
Mains, you always do one. You never do it in steps. That's cylinder heads because they're large and they're more than one surface.
Okay.
There's a short surface area, so you have to do it in just one shot.
So you're just doing one full 105 pound-feet?
Yep. Normally be a half-inch torque wrench, but I just got to get my workout this morning. The Jezel belt drive on, it's a 400 race cam. After we get it all installed up on there, we'll turn around and check and make sure what the cam's degreed in at.
All right, so this is just a standard race cam big block setup. It's not specific to the J-line blocker?
Correct, it's just a good 400 race cam. And then we'll check the in play on the cam and we'll check that and start rolling on it.
All right, and the benefits of a belt drive to a chain or even a gear drive?
You take the harmonics out of it, and then the twist of the cam and crank rotation being opposite, the belt will take care of the slap in it and help it around on that. So
okay, and now also I notice we've got a vernier adjustment. That's obviously much finer than your standard, you know, pull the gear off and rotate. And well, the cam, which we talked about earlier, has 2 degrees already ground into it, and so we'll probably dial that back even further.
Yeah.
Okay. So real quick, let's talk about all the stuff that Benpack sent us. They sent us this cool folding engine stand, which is rated, I believe, at a ton.
Yeah, I believe that's what the thing says.
Which is especially important for a big block because it's not a small block that only weighs, 500 pounds. This thing's probably going to weigh a significant amount.
I would say so for sure.
So it's got cool folding legs, which were a benefit for getting it here. And then they sent us this cool bench, which
it has 2 drawers, which is really, really sturdy and heavy. They also were kind enough to send us an engine hoist, which we just don't have in the booth because we don't have enough room for it. But it's a really nice thing that we'll show you later on down the road when we're moving the engine into the loading it up and stuff like that. So we appreciate all the help and with the products.
For the gas-ported piston ring, instead of gas-porting the piston, you port the top ring, and it still allows the combustion gases to get behind and cause it to steal. And this has been out for, I don't know, about 5 years, 6 years now. But back when they were developing this, I seem to recall a certain racer in a certain class that didn't allow gas porting got caught with these, and he received a season ban. So these have been around for quite a while, but they're just now coming out to the market, and they work amazingly well.
Total Seals, dry assembly lube.
The quick seat,
quick seat stuff that goes on the cylinder walls, and to break the rings in a little bit better, you don't need much.
I learned that the hard way.
A pinch will do you.
So if I remember right, the instructions say when it turns like that light green hue, you're good, right?
Correct. That means your cylinder walls are clean and nice and ready to go. If it turns a blackish color, that means you got dirt in your cylinder walls.
And you got to clean it some more.
Correct.
And the idea here is that this basically helps the rings break in quicker.
Yes.
And it also acts as a dry film lube, so like when you're turning it over during assembly, you're not scraping anything.
Correct.
All right, so Nick, let's talk about the pistons here. These are Racetech custom deals for the DR17 head, right?
Yeah, they put the intake valve pocket so it lines up. The radial clearance was right at 50 thousandths, which is where we always run it. It's 100 thousandths overall, but 50 thousandths to half the size of the valve.
Okay.
So we got that going, and then It's got the total seal rings, 0.9 millimeter rings. The top ring is gas ported and the pistons are gas ported. Because we don't have a vacuum pump on this motor, we're trying to make as much vacuum, as much horsepower as possible since we're in A.
Gotcha. And these are made from they're forged from 2618, right? Like, so the good aluminum for the big power.
Yes, sir.
And they're 4600 because we're going for 632, and there's no other way to get 632 without bore and stroke, right?
Correct.
And these use a 990 wrist pin?
Yeah, 990, like 200 wall wrist pin is what they provided us for this whole deal.
Is that again strength overall?
Yeah, it's one of the strongest combinations with wrist pin that you could possibly get. So we got just strength on everything on this thing. So there's not a weak point for somebody trying to win this. Since it'll be given out one, they can have something that'll be strong enough that they can beat on it and have fun.
So for the rods, we're doing the same strength over weight thing because these are forged H-beam rods that aren't the lightest on the market, but they're built to take some serious power, right? I mean, they've got ARP L19 rod cap bolts that'll take 260,000 PSI, which is just a ton of power. So. And I noticed it's got a slight dish. What's our overall compression ratio going to be?
10.7 to 1, so it can run real pump gas, so it's not a fake number like some of these people put on their things of, oh, this is a street pump gas motor and it's got over 11 to 1 compression, and that don't quite work. So
yeah, because I know we're going to dyno it on 94.
Yes.
But still,
it's close enough to pump gas.
Yeah. So the winner is going to be able to literally drive this thing to the gas station and fill up.
Yep. And with that compression of even somebody out in California or other states that don't have 93, they can still have a motor they can drive on the street and have fun with.
Very cool. Talk to me about this, because every milling pump I've ever run any of my projects are those cast ones. Like,
they make a billet pump with a couple different sections, so depending on the depth of your oil pan. So they have like a 7-inch, an 8-inch, an 8.5-inch. This is one of their 8-inch ones, which you can see right in the part number. And being billet, won't move around like a cast will, so the tolerances stay tighter. It's already got a pickup screen built into the bottom of the pump.
So the pickup is built into the pump?
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. So there's nothing to fall off.
Exactly, so you don't have to worry about it. And plus with it being way out in the thing, now you got less windage. The pickup's not in the way of crankshaft and everything else.
So we're checking rod side clearance. What are we shooting? Like, what are we hoping for here?
19 to 20, so it fits in with a 19 feeler gauge. So it's good to go on all of them.
Perfect. Let me get a big one. All right, Nick. So obviously we have a cool Moroso fabricated pan, and that's cool. But what's inside? It looks like we have a lot of windage control in here. Like, so what's going on?
They put a windage tray on here, made for the billet pump. So then since the pickup is now just open down here, these go across the main caps, so it blocks off, so it makes it individual off of the main caps. Then they turn around, and with the windage tray, it has the cutouts for each section, so it drains back but doesn't pull up. And it's got big kickouts on both sides, so actually the bowl holes on the side are underneath, so it's got to come through plugs in the pan, so then you're outside of the pan rail, so then that way the oil is pushing all the way out this way and then comes back around.
Okay, so
and then it's got 2 different magnetic drain plugs in it, and then it also has provisions if you want to do drainbacks on the cylinder heads or turbos or whatever. It's got plugs here, and it's got an inspection plug if you need to look at your oil pump or adjust the oil pump.
Very cool. So this,
and the other thing is, it's got a dipstick. So this is a street motor, so this one's going to have the dipstick in it.
All right, awesome. So I mean, they've literally put every form of oil control they can into this pan. Which,
so you least amount of windage, least amount of aeration that you can get.
Well, now, and since we're only going to be spending, what, we're 75 now? Like, we're slowly increasing throughout the weekend. But It's the amount of stroke
Yeah.
that is more concerning than the actual RPM, right? Because that's such a big movement of,
Yeah,
of
you're in the oil
in there.
more.
Very cool. So, and it's also really light. Like,
Yeah, aluminum fabricated deal.
that's, you know, that's not for nothing.
Yep.
So, all right, let's get this on, and then we will have the short block wrapped up, right?
Yep, short block will be done after this.
After a long day working on the short block, we're all wrapped up. A big thanks to all of our sponsors and partners on this, especially Summit Racing, whose lightning fast shipping and parts inventory helps racers all over the world get their engines done just like us. If you want to enter to win this amazing big block Chevy engine, make sure to enter at www.enginelabsgiveaway.com for a chance to win. It's totally free and takes less than a minute to get entered. Experience the opportunity of a lifetime. Your chance to own a 1,000 plus horsepower big block Chevy at no cost. Visit EngineLabsGiveaway.com and secure your spot today.